What's up, AJ Shipley of Second Form? Good to be with you as we wind down this interesting year. This is the very last Latin lesson you are going to encounter this year. So let's get to it. Lesson 11 here on page 34 in our textbook. Now, in the last lesson, we were also dealing with prepositions. Remember the tune, ab corum cum deex in pre prosine sub tenus, ab corum cum deex in pre prosine sub tenus. Maybe a little cheesy, but it's a helpful way of memorizing those prepositions that take the ablative. Meaning, when you see those prepositions, the noun that is following is going to be in the ablative case. Okay? Lesson 11, we have a whole other set of prepositions. A couple that we saw in the last chapter, except these take the accusative. Same sort of deal. When you see this preposition and a noun following it, it is going to take, most likely, the accusative case. In and sub can take either, okay? And they mean different things depending on what case the noun is following that preposition, okay? So for example, in, right here, looking at the textbook, if in, that preposition goes with the noun in the accusative case, the meaning is into or onto. Flip back here. If it's with an ablative noun, it just means in or on. Likewise, look at sub. Sub in the ablative means under, at the foot of. If you put it with an accusative noun, it means to the foot of. All right, just a subtle difference, but there is a distinction there. All right, so once again, these prepositions of Shipley, okay, they go with the accusative case, and that's the direct object case. All right, looking on page 35, nothing much there that I just didn't talk about. There's not a whole lot in this information that's really new conceptually. You've conceived all these things before in dealing with other parts of the Latin language. Only you have more words to learn and meanings, okay? Again, prepositions that take the accusative. That's what we're dealing with here. All right, vocab, you have 5 first declension vocab words down at the bottom. Chana, herba, tabula, turba, and vaca. Easy stuff. All right, let's look at your workbook. It's not a very long workbook lesson on this chapter, so that should make you a little excited. But let's take a look at it. First, you have the word study and grammar. I know it's the end of the year, so I'm going to help you out in the word study and the grammar, okay? So number 1, a preposition shows the blank between a noun/pronoun and another word in a sentence. I said this previously. Prepositions show what? They show relationship. So number 1 is a preposition shows the relationship. Number 2, a prepositional phrase consists of the preposition and there's a noun that comes after that preposition, either the accusative or the ablative. The object of the preposition, that's number 2. Number 3, there are 2 different cases, you know this. For number 3, it's either the ablative a preposition governs or the accusative. No big deal there. Number 4, what English word has an additional letter before words that begin with vowels? English word, okay? A/an. So if I want to say apple, I don't say a apple, I say an apple. A-N, apple, an apple, okay? If I want to say a barn, I don't say an barn, I say a barn. So it depends. If there's a vowel, you have an. If there's no vowel, it's a. Now there are some prepositions in Latin that function just like that. Look at number 5. What are 2 Latin prepositions similar to this word? A/ab, a/x. Which one you use depends on the object of those prepositions. Is there a vowel up front or not? 6, generally prepositions that express motion toward take the accusative case. So if you're dealing with motion towards something, okay, you're going to be dealing with the accusative case. And number 6, going on, prepositions that express location and motion to or motion from. That's going to take the ablative case. That's very important. In Latin, you can determine by these prepositions and cases, are you dealing with motion towards the object? Okay, if that's the case, you're dealing with the accusative. And prepositions that express location, no motion, or motion from, take the ablative case, all right? A little confusing, but you'll get it. 7, which prepositions can take either the ablative or the accusative case? We talked about this, in or soup, okay? All right, that's word study and grammar. Let's go over a bit on the following pages here. Okay, so into 61, you will understand that. 62, you have one of those charts where you're going to get the most out of it if you do that by memory, friends. So on this chart, I think what I would do is, why don't you write out the English prepositions first? Write them down, use your book, and then try putting in the Latin by memory, and then use the derivatives. Write them in by memory if you can, but certainly knowing the Latin out of the English is crucial. At the bottom, you have accusative case endings of all 5 declension nouns you've learned. Remember, you're dealing with prepositions taking the accusative, so this book wants to make sure you know your accusative endings, so that's what the bottom of 62 is asking you to do, just the accusative endings of all 5 declensions, okay? Then on page 63 in your workbook, now we get to our drills. We've got the nuts and bolts here. Let's do some drills on what these things are about. Okay, so drill A, prepositions with first declension nouns. Drill B, you're dealing with second declension. Drill C is third, drill D is fourth, and drill E is fifth. Okay, so it is going to get progressively harder because third, fourth, and fifth declension nouns are just a little trickier than first and second. And this is getting you used to seeing these prepositions with nouns of all declensions. That's what this is about, all right? In terms of vocabulary here in these drills, you should know all these words by now. You may have to look up a couple just to jog your memory, but you should be aware of all the words that you come across, or at least you should recognize them, okay? All right, so it's dealing with all 5 declensions. All right, take your time. Take your time. And don't feel bad if you have to go back and look at a 4th declension or a 5th declension, how they decline, all right? Know what case you are dealing with, okay? Is it accusative or is it ablative? All right. 65, page 65, translation. You know the drill there. Work on these translations. You're going to get to some where you have to go from Latin to English. That is not easy. It really does separate the girls from the women, the men from the boys, but take your time and do it. And that's it. That's all for this lesson. And then the following week, the last week we're doing schoolwork, you're going to have an open book quiz over this stuff. That's right, I said open book quiz, right? Take your time on the workbook, guys. I know it's towards the end of the year. You're tired. It's been an interesting time for all of us, but you know, students, I think you've done well. You've done well. Given all that you've had to go through, this is not easy. And there's not a teacher here that thinks this should be easy for you. So learning Latin is challenging enough, now having to learn it at home. But you know what? You guys are built for this kind of stuff. You're independent thinkers. You know how to do this. And I trust that you can figure this out. You're at a point in your Latin career where you don't need a lot of guidance. Most of the work comes from you and how much you make of it, all right? The Lord bless, keep, and be with you. If you need to FaceTime me, grab a parent, FaceTime. I'll be happy to talk you through any challenging parts that you run into. Okay, thank you. The Lord be with you. Bye-bye.